So fixing the freezer door was important because if we look, see, it still works great, but I also went to Maine and loaded up on some scallops and some flounder back there, and why we wouldn't be able to get that back to Georgia if we weren't confident in that freezer door. But all the way in the drive through Maine, it's working great. Magnet here, stiff as can be. Magnet up here, stiff as can be. Love the way this is working out. Simple fix. Now I'm done. Today I'm going to show you what I believe is the fix for this Dometic door problem. Now what usually happens in this door is the housings break here and here. iFixify sells replacement parts. I've actually got the replacement parts in this door, but they keep breaking, and I don't think it's their fault. I don't think there's, but and it's actually the housings. There's springs in here, but it's actually the housings that keep breaking. I just think it's the amount I travel, the places I travel. I do take my trailer off-grid a fair amount, and so it keeps causing this to break. So I think I've come up with a solution for this. So instead of spring loading this thing, because I think the springs and the spring loading bouncing up and down the road is what's causing the housings to break, because it seems as though, hey, it works fine, it shuts great, and then I get to wherever I'm going and the darn thing's broken again for the rest of the trip, and I've got to fix it again, and I'm getting tired of that. So here's the solution I've come up with. I've got these magnets, and as you can see, they're white magnet baggage door catch, and I have an 8-pack of them. I've used a couple of them on my last Lance travel trailer, but what I've done, as you can see here, I've drilled holes in this one so I can mount these a little bit differently. Now these don't actually go together this direction the way they go together. Do this with one hand and spin them around. The way they go together is actually like that. That's where they've got power. So what I did was I used a 5/64 drill bit and drilled holes through this one so that I can mount it to the underside of my freezer. This side here I'm going to mount to the freezer door with the screws that came. I'm using, on this one here, I need a little longer screw because they're going to have to travel from here to here. And so I'm using stainless steel number 8 by 1 inch to mount those. My plan, and I think this will work, is to put it into this freezer door, is to mount one of them, not this one. This one with the holes will go up, this one with the holes will go up top, right up here in the center point. And this one will go here like this at that center point. I think the right distance, I'm going to mark this out, but I think the right distance to reset this one, right, because I'm going to have to reset it on this inside level, I believe is going to be right at the edge of this lip right here inside the panel, but on the roof of the freezer door. But I'm going to go ahead and mark that out, make sure that's the case, and let you know how this starts to come together. In order to get my angle here, I do think that that's the right measurement, but in order to get my angle here, I'm going to have to take this door back out. So that's going to be my next step here. The way I do that is there's a little hole right there. You can see that little hole right there. I just push a narrow Phillips head screwdriver into that hole, pushes this out, and allows me to slide this out. There's the hole you can see in the end of the door. And what I did is the door was laying this way. Let me show you that, set it up here. As the door was laying this way, I used this narrow, Phillips head screwdriver. It goes into that hole right there like that. See, it goes through there, which what that does is it compresses this spring mechanism so that you can slide the door out easily. Now, as we take this out, so these are new ones. What always seems to break is the back of this housing here where that wire for the spring comes through. No matter how many times you load it correctly, it eventually seems to break. I've replaced this several times, so I'm not interested in doing that anymore. So now I'm leaving it here essentially just as a hinge mechanism when I reload it. Same thing with the one on the other side. I'm going to leave them both in there just as a hinge mechanism, but this gets everything out of the way so that I can operate my drill and drill up here. Now what I'm going to do is I've marked this out, and I'm going to drill 1/8 inch holes that match up with my driver here and go ahead and attach that first magnet up here. Showing you slightly better angle on the freezer. What you can see here is I've angled or or I've got this set so that I can drill up through either side. I've held it in place with some blue painter's tape, and I'm going to go ahead and punch through with my first drill holes here. So here these guys are mounted in. I guess if I want to take them out, that's pretty sturdy. I'll spray paint them white at some point so they don't stand out as much, but I really don't care about that. I mean, there's metal showing back here, and yeah, it gets in the way just a little bit maybe, but we don't put that much stuff in our freezer, and I'm more concerned about this door staying shut. Yeah, I've screwed those on and the back of the door here, and that is very secure. So let's go ahead and put our door back in and see how we've done. Okay, so here's my end product. I got magnet here, magnet here. They're both very sturdy. Now the back of this one could theoretically want to come off sometime, and if it does, I'll take it out and I'll put some super glue on it and glue it in so that it doesn't. But the back of it is open back here. See here, this one's not open on the back where you change the magnet out, because it's up flush the way it's supposed to work. But this one's mounted. One of the things to note is if these magnets, if you want to switch the polarity, you can open the back and switch them over. They're marked so you don't mess up which side is which, but that should be pretty easy to tell. My hinge no longer works as a spring hinge. It's just kind of got some light tension to it, so it doesn't want to break. But when I shut it, that thing stays shut and takes a little pull to get it open. I am so much happier with this. So here is the positioning for these things. I brought this one all the way up to the top, centered, right? So that one's on the center. This one, if you look, there's a mark here. It's centered, but it's recessed from this metal lip just about 3/16 of an inch. And so recessed 3/16 of an inch, it closes perfectly. These springs no longer have a bunch of tension in them, so I'm not worried about the housing. That closes so much better. So this is my final fix on this Dometic freezer door. So now when I open it, it doesn't just want to flop. And when I open it, it stays open and it doesn't want to just spring back, so I can get things out and I can shut it. So much more functional. I don't know why Dometic didn't do something simple like that to begin with. Again, this is a 2007 Airstream, but hey, I'm so much happier with that than I was with what it does before. Now, when I want to get something out, it stays open. When I want to shut it, it stays shut. The springs and the housings don't have a bunch of tension on them, so they shouldn't break going down the road. That's very sturdy. As I try to move it up and down, it really doesn't have any wiggle. So much better than what it was before. Hope this helps you out if you're looking to try to do something like this.